Rick Scott. Senator, it's good to see you. You talk to the powers that be. I know you're close to the administration. Give us something we don't know. All we have are things swirling around and conjecture and tweets and things like that. What's going on? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, first off, I think I never personally expected China to do a deal that was fair to Americans. This is a country that steals our technology, is building a military to compete with us, is not acting responsibly as a world leader. They're participating in the genocide that's going on in Venezuela. And look, I'm a business guy. When people change the deal after you negotiate a deal, almost never do those deals happen. So the president's doing what he can do to put pressure on them. He is going to make American products more competitive, which should help American companies. The president's doing what he can to stop what's been going on for decades of allowing the Chinese to take advantage of us.
So when it's all said and done, we're not going to accomplish that much, and that's going to be the criticism, that it was always going to be a toothless deal, and Trump just wants one so badly because the election's coming up that he's going to agree to something. And the critics that didn't want to even engage China in the first place are going to say that he got his clock cleaned by the Chinese.
I don't think he's going to blink. I don't think the president's going to blink. I think Lighthouser understands that China's been taking us to the cleaners for decades, and I don't think the president and Lighthouser are going to blink. I think that this is going to be good for American companies, and I think it's going to hopefully start making China more responsible. They won't have the money to spend on their military to compete with us, to go into places like Venezuela and hurt the citizens of Venezuela. So, look, I never expected a deal to happen because I don't trust the Chinese.
Are you on board that the tariffs actually are going to be economically beneficial to the United States and the citizens here, that it's not going to be passed along to consumers, and that it's not really just a tax on us that hurts both China and the United States, that it's a lose-lose? He seems to think that it can actually be a benefit to the United States.
I think it depends on the company. First off, it's going to make American goods more competitive. That's a positive. The amount of money we receive in tariffs, we need to make sure we give that, because it clearly impacts the cost of things. All that money ought to be put back through tax reductions to the consumers of this country, because it is going to raise some cost. So it's clearly a tax, and we ought to give it back to our citizens with additional tax cuts. But China is not acting responsibly. They haven't acted responsibly. They're building a military to compete with us through the profits from American products that are sold to American citizens. So I think the president and Lighthouser are doing the right thing, and I don't believe they're going to blink.
Then what does that mean for U.S.-China relations for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? It sounds like the Cold War 2.0.
Well, look, they're not our friend. We ought to stop buying their goods every day. We shouldn't buy their goods. They're taking those profits and trying to compete with us in the world stage. They are stealing our technology. So we have to understand they're not our friend. And it's no fun to go through negotiations like this where the other side won't be a responsible citizen. You can't do a deal with somebody that doesn't want to do a deal with you on fair terms. You can't do it.
The president likes it when the stock market goes up, talks about how many new highs he's seen. If this falls apart, there is no deal, I'm sure there'll be some effect on the averages here. Is that okay? Is that okay with you?
Let's look at what the average person cares about. We've got the lowest unemployment in, 50-plus years. We got significant wage growth. So if you look at what the average person cares about, they say, do I have a job? Are my wages going up? That's what they care about. I mean, we'd all like the stock market to go up every day, but reality is, for the typical American, they want a good job, an American job, and with that you can, have the money through your government to pay for schools, keep people safe, all those things. But it's about, look at this market, look at this job market. That's what people are thinking about. They're not thinking about the stock market every day.
So I like to stir things up, and sometimes I get yelled at. But here's sometimes. Anyway, here's the Washington Post. Republicans are feuding over Burr. I mean, McConnell said it's over. Mueller didn't find collusion. What is Burr subpoenaing Donald Trump Jr. for? What was the rationale behind that? Have you talked to him? I mean, I saw what Rand Paul said. I saw what Ted Cruz said. What do you say? What's the deal? Well, he's a Republican. What's the deal?
Well, I'm not on the Intelligence Committee. So I don't know exactly what
You have
they're
to be
doing.
intelligent to be on that committee, Senator. I mean, that's kind of an oxymoron when used in government terms, isn't it? Just kidding. But you're not on it, but you hear things. I mean, you must have an opinion on what Senator Burr is thinking.
I think all of us would like to know.
His North Carolina colleague said, "What is wrong with you?" Right? So, do you know?
Sure. All of us would like to know, and so I'm sure that Senator Burr will put out exactly why he's doing what he's doing. But I'm not in intelligence. Look, there was no collusion.
Yeah, back to the meeting. Back to the meeting, and tell us again after. I mean, it's just I don't get it. I mean, I'm speaking for you. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm sure that Senator Burr will explain exactly what he's doing.